first contention is the Second Amendment. Assault weapons threatens the Second Amendment rights. D.C. vs. Helen Cruz Miller is not the controlling precedent. This is according to Warren Congressman 2009. The reinstatement of a ban on so-called assault weapons runs counter to the Second Amendment, which protects the right to lawfully keep and bear arms. The Supreme Court ruled in Heller that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to keep and bear arms, primarily for self-defense. The court also sent a clear message that incremental steps to erode the Second Amendment are unacceptable. Heller also recently redefined the Second Amendment individual right to possess and carry weapons, and was affirmed 2 years later in McDonald versus City of Chicago, applying the individual right to bear arms to all 50 states. This is according to Mahalko, Executive Commons Editor from Boston College in winter 2012. U.S. Second Amendment policy was recently redefined by the Supreme Court. In Heller, Justice Scalia reasoned that the Second Amendment guarantees the individual right to possess and carry weapons in case of confrontation. Only 2 years later, Heller was affirmed and the Second Amendment was incorporated against the states as an individual right in McDonald. 2 years later, McDonald incorporated the individual right to keep and bear arms established in Heller to all 50 states. The court ultimately determined that the right to keep and bear arms is among the fundamental rights necessary to our system of ordered liberty. Contention 2 is self-defense. Guns can be used to stop acts of evil in the name of self-defense. This is according to Gross, chair of Calvin's Foundation, on July 26, 2012. There are evils in our world. Our civil right to armed self-defense has a storied history of protecting us from many of these evils. This right to protect the abolitionists and also protects the right to bear, the right to bear arms was used to protect freedmen from the brutal violence of the KKK. Arms continue to protect civil rights workers, and also the right to armed self-defense protects the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual community from the twin evils of ignorance and hate. The right to self-defense also protects mothers and daughters from rapists, merchants from robbers, and families from home invaders. Guns are also used 1.5 million times a year to successfully defend good people from bad people, almost always without the firing of a single shot. Assault weapons also defend against terrorists. This is according to favorite J.D. Thomas Cooley Law School. Gun control proponents deny that the average citizen can or should take action to stop terrorism. There are several examples of armed citizens armed with so-called assault weapons who protected themselves and their neighborhoods. For example, Israeli citizens are often the first to respond to terrorist attacks. Also, the shooting at the Ticket County of LA airport illustrates the effective use of firearms against terrorist-style attacks. Self-defense against terrorists is also an individual responsibility that cannot always be delegated to the government. Our contention 3 is the ban is ineffective. The ban is ineffective, 5 reasons, according to the Legal Community Against Violence, 2005. The federal ban was a victim of numerous compromises, unfortunate regulatory decisions, and exploitation by the gun industry. The definition of assault weapons requires each weapon to have 2.
Time. Crossfire.
Wait, who else first?
You do.
Okay.
Eric, move that way. Thank you. Go.
Is the Second Amendment really not an act, or is it still an act because not all guns are banned?
We said earlier that the Second Amendment protects people's rights to carry arms and to bear arms for self-defense, and steps to erode this is not acceptable. Okay. For your contention to Mexico, you said that the assault weapons ban caused Mexico to have more murders than usual. But can't Mexico just get their weapons from other countries who don't have assault weapons ban, they can get like better and real weapons for other countries.
Yeah, but there must be a reason for Mexico people to get the gun from the U.S. because they're actually closest to the U.S. So it's really easy for them to smuggle, like the cartel states. It's really easy for criminals just to smuggle it between the border. That's why they choose America over the other countries. Are not, you said that the bans, that you said that assault weapons are unusual personal weapons of mass destruction. You said that Second Amendment gives the people the right to bear arms, but doesn't shotguns, rifles, aren't those arms too?
Yeah, but if they're terrorists, they won't care if you have just a handgun or a shotgun. And assault weapons are more useful in defending yourself against terrorists because not all situations are just between civilians. You say that gun control is effective, but how do you explain the fact that after the gun control ban lapsed, there was still a major decrease in the amount of killing?
Major decrease?
Yeah, there was, the overall crime still decreased after the ban lapsed.
Wait, am I allowed to ask a question about the question?
No, answer the question.
That might be because criminals actually have less guns, so that means they have less chance to attack civilians, which means a less murder rate and criminal rate right after that expired. You said that assault weapons can be used to protect yourself against terrorists, but can't shotguns, like